This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, you see we got the crew back in order. Steph will be here. No, well, not today, but you know what I mean? She'll be back on the block pretty soon. As a matter of fact, next Monday, she'll be back doing the Queen's Court. But we got Andy, we got Tony in the building. And yeah, we ready to go ahead and talk some New York Knicks. Couple of updates. But before we do that, let's go around, see how everybody's doing. Andy, what's popping with you, man? How you feeling?
What up, Sim? What up, Tom? What up to chat? I missed you guys so much. When I saw the notification, I was like, let me hop on with these guys. I saw the show last week, or it was 2 weeks ago. I was like, maybe I should hop on. Sim said, just go on and you know the link and stuff like that. But I was like, no, you guys were almost wrapping it up. Yeah, so man. I was like, next time.
You know, you got the keys. You got the keys to the garage. You could just jump in at any time. Tony, what's good, brother? How you feeling?
I'm good, Sim. You know, during my last day off of the week. But I'm glad to get on again. Your Blackest Time. Shout out to the chat, man. We are here.
Yeah, man. I'm feeling really good because, I talked about it all last night on the stoop. Going to this Nas and Wu-Tang concert tonight. I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it. You know what I mean? I know it's gonna, and De La Soul is gonna be there. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be a dope concert. I already know. But we got some New York Knicks stuff to get to. We ain't gonna be on too long. Just going over a few things. I guess the first thing we should get to is Tom Thibodeau, because that's where a lot of the content's coming from. Tom Thibodeau did an interview with NBA.com. Yeah, Tom Thibodeau's not going to give you too much, but he gave you a little bit about the Knicks off season. He gave you a little bit about guys coming into the regular season, right? So let's talk a little bit about what Tom Thibodeau said during that interview. All right. First and foremost, listen, Tom Thibodeau. It's probably going to be short on words. You're going to hear a lot of the same stuff. You know what I mean? But they asked him, how you feeling about the Knicks off season? Tom Thibodeau said continuity is important. And we're going into year 4. So when he says year 4, I think he's talking about his term, right? His how long he's been the coach of the New York Knicks. We're young. Go ahead, Tony.
No, I was going to just say, and the majority of the roster being the same during that stretch.
And a lot of, exactly. He said, we're young. That's the best thing about our team, that you can continue to get better. We're looking forward to the development of the guys we do have. Getting the experience from last year was very beneficial to us, but we have to understand it's a new year and we start over again. Adding Dante DiVincenzo is great for us. He's a great team guy, and he'll fit in seamlessly. All right. And then NBA.com asked, building on last season and the postseason, what do you think that will mean for guys like RJ, Quentin Grimes, Immanuel Quickley? He said, trial and error is a big part of learning. So the more experience you get in the big games, the better it is for you. I've seen the growth from 2 years ago. You take every experience and move it forward. Now you're going to the offseason, you're preparing for them, and that's a great motivator. All right. I guess we'll stop right there. I don't think there's anything in what he said that basic Tom Thibodeau stuff, right? Basic Tom Thibodeau stuff.
Yeah, he didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. That's for sure. and like you said, Sim, I don't know if these guys, all of the management and the coaching staff, they got trained in this way. they literally don't slip one unnecessary word that the media could turn around and switch it up on them
At
so
all.
they are like, listen, this and that, ABCs. Every time we're gonna
Right.
talk, it's gonna be ABCs.
I can guarantee you that they get trained in that way, right? You know, the Knicks have, you know, they got a publicist, they got people that are around for every interview, you know, and this could have been, this may not even been a phone call interview. This could have been, hey, I'm going to send you an email with some questions and, you know, you type it out. You know what I mean? Because it's just an article on NBA.com. But yeah, you know, they're not going to give too much, right? Tony, just in this part, and we only have like a couple more paragraphs to go, and then we'll get into our thoughts.
I mean, I think it's typical Tibbs, not too much info, but it's spot on. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what he said was true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I believe in the same type of thing. The continuity, that's an asset that not every team has.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of turnover throughout the leagues. Guys
Right.
trying new guys out, whatever. So you gotta think to try to use that and take advantage of that,
Right.
and that may give you a one up at least early in the season. You know what I mean? So start off strong while other guys are trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, that should be, you know, one of the Knicks, one of their strengths this season. You know what I mean? It's the continuity. And when you add a guy like Dante DiVincenzo, although he's new to the team, he's already got experience with Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson and those guys. So it helps that continuity. And guys have already been at Westchester working out a little bit. I think I seen a video of Dante DiVincenzo working out with some other guys. You know, guys have been there working out. You know what I mean? So, you know, they're getting to know each other. They start this Saturday, right? Saturday. They start on Saturday. So, you know they're already there around each other, you know, getting things going. Let's hear some more from Tibbs, or not hear some more from Tibbs. Read some more from Tibbs. All right. He was asked about Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. He said Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, meanwhile, added the experience of playing with Team USA this summer. How can that translate to help the Knicks? And here's Tom Thibodeau. He said, I think it's great for the younger guys when you look at the history with the Olympics, the World Cup, and Team USA. When Derrick Rose came back that year, he won MVP. He was 22 years old. The fact that it's a different style, I like that too, because you're adapting. You can learn from playing that way and playing against international players. It allows you to hit the ground running in training camp too. The benefits far outweigh the negatives there might be. No one is being taxed to the point where he's playing 40 minutes. You're playing roughly half a game. And every player on your team is a great player, so you're practicing against the best and doing things you probably wouldn't be doing in the summer. Yeah, you'd be shooting, you'd be conditioning, but you probably wouldn't be playing. And then they asked him about Julius Randle. What update can you give us on Julius Randle, who had ankle surgery in June? He said, just steady progress. He's had a very good offseason. He'll be fresh and ready to go. And I tell you what, the last part, Julius Randle, I am very happy that he said Julius Randle is going to be fresh and ready to go because, you know, that was one of my concerns coming into the season. You know, whether or not Julius Randle, you know, had a full recovery. You know what I mean? So to hear that he's going to be fresh, ready to go, is really good. I know we did see some video on Julius Randle, working out. He always looks like he's in shape, but he looks like he's doing. Looks like he's ready to go, and hopefully, you know, all the stuff that we heard in the offseason about, you know, or the interviews he did about, you know, his mentality and watching video and all of those things. Hopefully, it comes to fruition. During the regular season, we'll find out more in a couple of weeks. well, not even a couple, yeah, about 2 weeks, we'll get a chance to see these guys play. So I'm definitely excited for that. Andy, any thoughts on Julius Randle, his recovery? And then we'll move into, well, I'll get Tony's thoughts, and then we'll move into Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart.
Well, just going back to what Tip said about the international play, I totally agree with him that it's a way better experience for those players that were there than just playing pickup games and around the country. That's one. The second thing about Julius Randle, I was actually expecting that. Julius is, a hard-nosed player, tough guy. I didn't expect, a twisted ankle to hold him back for 3 months or more, right? So I was expecting that he's gonna be fully healthy before the season starts, and that's what I'm guess that's what we're gonna get. And the last thing was about what was the last thing? No, about Julius. Tony,
Yeah,
to you.
about Julius, yep. Tony?
As far as the FIBA play, one thing I hope, I mean, obviously these guys been playing, RJ included, you know what I mean? So they can hit the ground running at also, but maybe a little chip on their shoulder, I mean, obviously RJ got the bronze, but Hart and Brunson not medaling out. I'm sure they're gonna hear about it from opposing players throughout the league.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean, during games, as well as from RJ, little bragging rights.
Oh, they're going to
So,
hear
you know
about
what
it
I
from
mean?
RJ.
So, hopefully it light a few, you know what I mean, for some, even more competitive play from two of our most competitive guys. So I think that's a great thing that could potentially happen from it.
Yeah.
And yeah, super happy to hear Randall seems to be ready. And I like the fact that he actually said, like, what do you say, steady progress or
Yeah, steady progress or
you know what I mean? So
whatever.
it's not
Yeah.
like over pushing him, even though he's very integral. You know what I mean? We still don't have a legit backup for. You know what I mean? We need him to be ready. We need him to hit the ground
Yeah.
running when the season starts.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. And, later on this week, we're going to get into, just breaking down position by position. Actually, tomorrow, we're going to, I'm going to get into that tomorrow, looking at, each position. But I want to talk about Julius Randle. What are your expectations from Julius Randle this season? What are your expectations from that, Tom Thibodeau and filling that backup 4 spot? You know what I mean? But I guess we'll start with Randle. What are your expectations from Randle coming into the season? Where do you want to see him go, or where do you think he can go as far as his level of play? And how does he get there? Tony, I'll start with you.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think he has his best year of his career. I think it's time. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of people think he's peaked already. I disagree. I think he's been learning and figuring things out, and steady improvement. So I think he's gonna have a. I don't want to call it a breakout year because you know what I mean. But I'm gonna say the best year of his career.
So what is all right. So what is that? What's that mean? The best year of his career? Like, what's that mean? Is does numbers determine the best year of his career for you, or something else?
I'm saying he's been his own worst enemy. You know what I mean? I think he figures that part out, and that's gonna make a world of difference. So the numbers could be right around what they've been in his 2 All-Star years, but the mental mistakes, I think he puts all that together. So that's what I mean. No more hurting himself, less technicals, You know what I mean? Less arguing with the refs. More focus on defense.
Okay.
More locked in moments.
Okay. All right. All right. Andy, what about you? Expectations for Randall.
Yeah, I think what Tony is asking from Julius this season, let's say it that way, I think it's still too much. I think he's still too young of a player to get those adjustments done. I'm expecting from Randall what we saw the last couple of years during the season, of course, because we can argue that he has an inconsistencies in the playoffs. Though the last playoffs, I'm still going to blame most of the inconsistencies on the injury, that he wasn't fully healthy and stuff like that. But the regular season numbers for him, over 20 points, around almost 10 rebounds, and the rest of the numbers, I think that's quite good for a power forward in the NBA on the salary that he has. And it's hard for me to expect him making huge steps and breakout seasons. I think I would actually be happy if we're going to see the regular Julius, about, like I said, above 20 points, around 10 rebounds, maybe not 5 assists, but, like around almost four and stuff like that. If, what I would love from Julius is, like Tony said, more concentration on the defensive end. So he doesn't, do stupid things there. And, I think if he would shoot from distance, from three, a couple of percentages, points better, I would love that, because I think that if you're a threat in today's NBA from the distance, you get a way easier path to the hoop if you want to go, and drive to the lane or play a little bit of post. And I think those are things that are still possible, but I think he's gonna get there in like 3, maybe 4 years. He needs to be like 32 to get that everything sorted out as far as the mind goes and stuff like that.
So you think?
I
So
think,
basically, you think he needs to mature more
yeah,
before
definitely.
he
For me, it's definitely,
before he.
and actually, I think I know it from me being almost 40 years old. I know how I saw players develop, and not only in the NBA, right? I saw guys playing, really fast and shooting and this and that. When they were over their 30s, the game changed a little bit. You could see that it slowed down for most of the players,
Mhm.
and they didn't do those bonehead moves and stupid shot selections and stuff like that. So I really think that of course, it can happen, but I'm not going to hold it against him that he's not going to be mature as I would want him to be at his age currently, right? So
So
Can,
do you?
can I?
Yeah, go ahead, Tony. Go ahead, Tony.
I just want to give some reasoning into why I believe this. Um,
except
he,
you're a Knicks
he,
fan,
he
right?
I mean, I'm looking at it from his bounce back already, right? I mean, his two bounce backs, to be honest, right? He's been through the biggest roller coaster in a 4-year span of probably any Nick that
Maybe.
I could think of.
Okay.
From coming in to a role that he's never had before, and figuring that out, and excelling there, to going through like one of the most hated Nick players in history, right? And I'm not saying that didn't put he didn't put contribute to why all this happened, but I'm just saying he went through these things. You know what I mean? I didn't think he could come back from 2 years ago. I don't think a lot of Knicks fans thought he could come back. I don't think a lot of Knicks fans were willing to even accept him. Like, everybody wanted him gone. To kind of overcoming that, I think those things make you mature faster than just years and years of normalcy. Like these things are abnormal. I think that's gonna contribute to his growth mentally. You know what I mean? Like he's been through the fire in New York City. like
Yeah.
he's got to grow mentally
Okay.
from it.
Man, I definitely can agree with that. You know, that you know, he's got to grow from it. I hope that he does. You know, I do understand what Andy's saying about, you know, just sometimes it takes time for you to just mature mentally. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we've seen him, you know what I mean, we've seen him take steps, right? And his pregame warm up, you know, certain things that he does in his life, we've seen him take steps. But even last year, still, he had his moments. And he'll continue to have moments. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? He's a person. He'll continue to have moments. How much do you think, first of all, okay, how much have fans just forgiven Julius? Are they, you know, because throughout the offseason, I guess it's been, you know, it's been a quiet offseason, but, you know, you haven't heard as much of the, you know, chatter around Julius Randle, not like last offseason. You know, at the end of the season, you know, the playoffs, of course, you heard it, but then it quieted down. So you haven't heard as much of the chatter. It feels like a lot of fans have kind of forgiven him or accepted him for who he is, right? What do you think? You know, where do you think the fans are with Julius Randle right now?
I mean, for the most part, I think a lot of them are just waiting, you know, waiting for whatever to occur so they could kind of make their statement and make themselves be, you know what I mean? So if he does something boneheaded, they waiting, they gonna pop out, you know what I mean? And if he improves it or is steady and doing what he's supposed to do, you know, you'll get some more cheers and, oh, I always knew he could, you know what I mean? So they don't want to jump out the window just yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. There's a few guys that still voice, oh, get him out of here. He's not, you know, playoff numbers posted every day from the same guy, and you know what I mean, in certain chats or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that. That's without a doubt. Andy, what do you think?
But most people are like wait and see type thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's hard for me to say that you always get a carte blanche, you know, before the season, like, you know, free pass and then we're started, because I think fans remember what happened. And like I always mention that, you know, I think it's just a human being thing that people remember way more and way better the bad things you do instead of the good things. That's why it's easy, you know, for fans to hate on these players and stuff like that. That being said, you know, I think fans you know, accept Julius for who he is as far as the regular season Julius. I think they are expecting for him to make that step in the playoffs. And I always gonna add here that first you gotta get to the playoffs. So, you know, that's the thing that I hope Knicks fans don't underestimate, that without Julius Randle, this team is going to be definitely worse and is going to have a harder way to get into the playoffs than just, you know, waiting and seeing what Julius can do in the playoffs.
Yeah. I did want to highlight something before we get to Tony. I seen you highlighted something. You can pull that up if you want to while I'm getting ready to pull this up. If you want to highlight that real quick.
My bad. The chat moved on me and I was trying to highlight it, but he said, "Now Randle be okay. He's been baptized in the city of fire," and that's what I'm talking about. Like the things he went through here is only gonna make him stronger, and I think we've witnessed it already. So I just wanted to highlight. Shout out to Julian.
Yeah, and then JJ said it's not about the season for Randle anymore. It's about the playoffs. He said, I don't care what Randle does in the season anymore. I mean, I agree and disagree, though, because if you're going to get to the playoffs, you still need Randle to perform at a certain level during the regular season, right? The Knicks don't get to the playoffs if Randle's not performing at a certain level, you know. So to me, that really doesn't make that much sense, right? Because if he gives you 10 points and 5 rebounds during the regular season, the Knicks probably don't make the playoffs, right?
I think most, yeah, I think most people are assuming he does what he does in the regular season.
I get that.
And
I get
you know
that.
what I mean?
I get
So
that.
like,
But
it's a given.
But what'll happen is the same person, JJ, who just said, I don't care what he does during the regular season, when he comes out and he's giving you 15 points and 8 rebounds, you're going to say, yo, he sucks. He's garbage. Get him out of here. He can't play in the regular season. He can't play in the playoffs. And then somebody will turn around and say, well, you said it don't matter what he does in the regular season. And then he'll turn around and say, but we need him to get to the playoffs. So, right?
That's exactly what I want to say. That it's always like that. And just to be more even funny, I think Steph pushes that narrative with the playoffs. And then JJ, you were watching too much Queen.
I mean, I want him to do. I understand what people are saying. Yeah. Yes, we want him to perform in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be, I think that's where he elevates his game, right? That's where he can elevate his stature in the league. But he still has to perform at a certain level, in the regular season, in order for the Knicks to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? So, I want Julius Randle to be an efficient 22, 23, 24, and 10 guy. Right? That's what I want him to be during the regular season. And then hopefully keep that same level of play or make it better during the playoffs. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping from Randle, but I'm not just going to say the regular season, doesn't mean anything anymore, because it does. it does. You know what I mean? People, it means a lot, because this is where you build chemistry. This is where you build, the things that you want to see happen in the playoffs. You build it during the regular season. Guys that you want to have in a foxhole with you, you build that during the regular season. So the regular season does mean something. You know what I mean? And then the playoffs obviously mean more, but throughout the regular season is where you figure out who you are as a basketball team. So that's important. You know what I mean? That's important. It's an important part of the process. I do want to remind everybody, before we're going to get into Immanuel Quickley and talk about his contract extension stuff, that we have tickets remaining. They're dwindling, though. Tickets remaining for the Knicks versus Cavs on November the 1st. It's $155 per ticket, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going to get a better price at all. You're just not going to get a better price. All right, $155 per ticket. Center court, sections 223, 224, 225. All right, it's going to be a great game. Cavs at the Knicks. It's the second night of a back-to-back. It's the second game of a home and away, or it's the Knicks' home game of a home and away game, and it's a playoff rematch. All right, Donovan Mitchell versus Jalen Brunson. You know what I mean? The only way you can get better than that is to be there with us. That's the only way you can make it any better, and by getting tickets at a really, really discounted price. The link is in the description of the video. It's also tagged to the top of your YouTube chat. So get them now before they're gone. There's only like 12 left or something like that. All right, so if you're going to get them, you better get them right now before they're out of there, ladies and gentlemen. I just put the link in the YouTube chat once again. Then, of course, we have our first annual kickoff cookout, upstate New York, Coxsackie, New York. All right, that's going to be a really, really dope time. We're going to eat, we're going to hoop, and we're going to do some podcasting. All right, and we're just going to, chill. People can come and do some fishing. You can, it might be too cold to get on the jet skis now, but you can if you want to. You know what I mean? So come join us, ladies and gentlemen. I just put that link in the chat as well. All right, so now let's talk about Immanuel Quickley. All right, while people are registering, while people are getting their tickets, you can listen to us talk about Immanuel Quickley. All right, because Fred Katz spoke about Immanuel Quickley and gave us at least a little bit of an update as per his contract negotiations. All right. According to Fred Katz, it's been nearly 3 months since Quickley became eligible for this extension, but that's not necessarily cause for concern. Based on conversations I've had with people in the know, there's optimism that a deal can get done. This is a 24-year-old who is already one of the team's best players. He's coming off his best season ever. Chances are Quickley will continue to improve. Even if he were to stagnate, he'd still be one of the league's best bench weapons. He finished second in the NBA in the Sixth Man of the Year voting last season. I still believe that they'll be going to free agency. That's just how I feel. I feel like they'll be going to restricted free agency is probably best for both parties, I think. I guess if Immanuel Quickley were to agree to a very team-friendly contract, I don't want to say very, but a team-friendly contract, then the deal gets done by October the 23rd. I still think it might go to restricted free agency. I mean, Andy, what do you think? What do you think happens with Immanuel Quickley? This is going to be throughout training camp. I think this is going to be a conversation. It's going to be a question throughout training camp. What happens with Immanuel Quickley?
I think waiting to the free agency makes the most sense for at least for the Knicks. I think you can say that it makes more sense for Quickley because, if he gets hurt, God forbid, with a serious injury, he might not get the money that he's even getting now from the Knicks as an offer. But still, Sim, because of the structure of the contracts and in the NBA, that he's going to be a restricted free agency, which means that the Knicks can match every contract, offer that Quickley gets.
Right.
So he can just go out there, negotiate the most money he wants, and then just come back to the Knicks and tell them, listen, I got $28 million per year. You want to match that? And Leon Rose books him that cab to LaGuardia and buys him the ticket to the city that he wants to sign that contract for. Because, the numbers that are swirling around the internet that Quickley wants, around or even more than 100 million for 4 years. For me personally, that's a too big number for a guy that's strictly a scorer off the bench. And he plays defense also, but he's mostly used as a scorer. We're not thinking that Quickley is going to be that guy off the bench that's going to lock up a hot guy that's playing with the starters and stuff like that. When you're thinking about Quickley and getting him off the bench to the game, you're thinking, listen, he's going to get us a bucket right away. So for me, I think that the best situation for the Knicks is like you said that we're going to wait till restricted free agency, allow him to get that offer, and then get that deal done. If we want to match it, we're going to match it. If we don't, we don't have to do it.
All right, Tony. Go ahead, Tony. Then I'll ask some questions. Got some thoughts.
I think the deal gets done. I think it gets done. I think they got about 25 days or so, 20-something days to get it done.
Yeah, just
but I'm looking at
the
the
less
track
than a month.
record. The track record of what the Knicks have been doing, and they've been giving out fair deals and negotiating deals. They've been finding out ways to figure it out. You know what I mean? Whether it's declining contracts, whether it's the player option, whether whatever it is, Josh Hart, RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, they figure it out for both parties. So I think the trend has been that. I think it continues. I also think, like I said, you don't really want to move him at this point. You know what I mean? So I know y'all talking about going into restricted free agency. Others think he'll be moved. So I don't think he'll be moved. I think he'll be extended, before the 23rd of October.
Yeah, the 23rd is the date. What is a fair extension number for Immanuel Quickley? That's the big question. That's what everybody, what's a fair number for him?
I have no issue with the 20 mil, to be honest.
That'd be like 25 mil though. If it's 4 years, 100 million, be like 25
Oh yeah,
million.
yeah. I mean,
That's-
I mean, a fair. So I mean, I think 20 is fair, to be honest. I mean, even if you did the 5th year at the player option or something, you know what I mean. I think it's fair. Give him 25 the first year and let it decline. If you know what I mean. I think I'll be fine with that too.
How much do you, Andy? What's fair for you for Immanuel Quickley?
I got a totally different, vision than Tony here. For me, I would be cool with Quickley getting below 17.5 million per year.
Ooh.
Okay, 18. I can write. I could work the incentives up to 18. That's the most I'm giving Quickley.
Wow. See, I have a hard time believing that he's going to get less than Josh Hart. Right? I do. I know Josh Hart brings, he brings, the defense and, the hustle plays, and is like that glue player type of guy. But Quickley plays defense as well. Right? He plays decent defense. I don't think he can't guard as many positions as Josh Hart, but Quickley played some really, really good defense last year, and he's a better scorer than Josh Hart. Right? I don't think he gets less than Josh Hart.
I agree.
I don't know how you would. I don't know how you would justify him getting. How would you justify him getting less money than Josh Hart, Andy?
Listen, I think because DiVincenzo is getting how much per year?
DiVincenzo?
Yeah.
I forgot. I got to pull it up.
And yeah, so
I think
in
he
the
was
meantime,
3 years, 53 or something like that.
DiVincenzo is making $10.9 million this year. He makes $11.4 in 24-25, $11.9 in 25-26, and $12.5 in 26-27.
And you guys think that the drop off between DiVincenzo and Quickley is going to be at least 10 million worth? I don't see that. That's why, even if we're going to say that DiVincenzo can score like Quickley and he can defend like Quickley, which is debatable, I'm just going to negotiate with Quickley. Listen, we got Dante here, which can do basically what we need him to do, and he can spare you a couple of minutes. So if you want to get 25 million, not from us.
So let me ask you this then. Is Josh Hart $8 to $10 million better than Dante DiVincenzo?
It might not be 8 to 10 million, but I think, like I told you before the show, I think the Knicks were lacking a hustle guy like Josh Hart. And the only thing that was missing in Josh Hart for me was his character, because he's known around the league as a nice guy, right? He's like, listen, he has all those funny moments where his teammates don't want to high five him and stuff like that. If he was viewed more like a goon, like the Morris brothers and guys like that, he would definitely be worth every penny of that contract.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I can hold against him is that he has a good heart versus, being a little bit of a dirty player, right? And I think that's the role that the Knicks still need to figure out on this roster, because I don't want Julius Randle, nor one of the guys that are really valuable to this roster to be playing that bad guy role. And I think that's the position that the Knicks need to fill.
Okay, so Josh Hart, he makes $12.9 million this year. Next season, 18.1. The season after that, 19.4. And then he makes 20.9 in 26-27. And then there's a team option for 22.3 in 27-28.
And Quickley wants still way more than that.
Yeah, I would definitely start Quickley at that last year number 22.
That would mean that the last year would be like 28. And Jalen is going to get like 19 that year.
Well,
That's Jalen's opt-out year.
Well, Jalen Brunson gets an opt-out in 25-26. So
yeah, but what's the number on that last season for him?
24.9.
See, so
Yeah, 20,
and
24.
I'm not paying then this. I don't know how this is even the debate that we're gonna pay Quickley than the amount of money that Jalen's getting. This is, for me, this is
he
probably wouldn't get that
guy
money.
that has improved,
But
and the most from all of our guys. Yeah,
he
like all of our
probably
young
wouldn't
guys.
get that money until, like, if you, I could justify starting him at 18 or 19, and then he goes up to about 24. The last year of his contract or something like that.
I could justify the 18, 19 if it's a descending contract.
You think his game is going to descend or get better?
Tony, my thing is, like, he never played my basketball philosophy game. And like I always mention, that playing with a guy like Quickley on your team versus playing like a guy like Josh Hart or Dante DiVincenzo, it's night and day. You would take two Josh's Hart before you would take two Immanuel Quickleys on your team.
Depending on who you are.
I only want one.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
I mean, but you also have to look at, like, okay, Dante DiVincenzo is going to be 27 years old in January. Right? He's got career averages of 9.1 points, 4.6 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 42% from the field, 36% from the three-point line. Right? Now he's played on some really good basketball teams. We do have to factor that in. Right? He's played with the Warriors, he's
Bucks,
played with the
Warriors.
Bucks. Right? So he's played on some really good teams. Immanuel Quickley, he just turned 24 years old in June. Right? Last season, career average is 12.7 points, 3.2 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 41.6% from the field, 36.7% from three. Took a big leap last year, 14.9 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 45% from the field, 37% from three. Dante DiVincenzo last season had the same numbers as his career averages. The Warriors weren't really better than the Knicks last year, were they? I mean, obviously he was playing behind some, who he's playing behind. I mean, I say this, I think the Knicks probably see that he probably feel Immanuel Quickley can be a 20-point scorer one day, as well as play defense. That's what I think.
Andy, you didn't even answer my question.
Listen, guys, he can be a 20-point scorer, but if he's going to take 20 shots for those 20 points.
But last year he shot 45% from the field, 37% from three.
Cool, but Sim, that's my point, that if you want to have a role of a scorer. The guy's going to shoot and stuff like that. I think DiVincenzo wasn't viewed as a scorer off the bench for the Warriors or the Bucks. I don't think, like I mentioned before, I don't think if you're bringing a guy off the bench, you basically know why you're putting him in, right? Whenever Tibbs calls for IQ off the bench, he wants scoring. If he's going to be calling DiVincenzo off the bench, he's going to think, listen, I want you to stop that guy. He ain't going to be looking like, oh, you're going to go out and shoot 3 threes for me.
Yeah.
You think DiVincenzo's a better defender than Quickley?
No, I'm just saying that these guys, comparing them to, they had totally different roles. The same with Brogdon. Brogdon, as a 6th man of the year last, he was running that team, like running, steadying the ship and stuff like that. You can ask Quickley to steady the ship with whoever's on the court, because we know the first option for Quickley is take a shot.
First of all, that comes with maturity. That comes with time and growth. He's 24 years old, but at the same time, he's filled in for Brunson in the starting unit, and we've seen the results in that. Numbers get even better. He is in control of running the second unit. So let's not act like, I don't think DiVincenzo is going to be running the point guard, whether it's in Brunson's absence or in that second unit. You know what I mean? So that's Quickley's job as well.
My point, Tony, is that if you, for example, let's say, putting him alongside Brunson, or even with, instead of Brunson, right? He has still the ball in his hands and he's going to take shots. If you take the shooting away from Quickley, and like we said, he's a developed defender. I would say he's even above decent.
Quickley.
You're still not viewing him as the guy that, for example, okay, I'm going to put Immanuel Quickley in the game because he's going to stop this and that guy. And it's not, looking at, for me, maybe it's like, because he's too small, he doesn't have the weight, he doesn't have the strength to do that, right? Versus the guys that I would envision, right? Maybe it's just me. I'm just going to leave it at that, because I'm really not a big fan of him because of several things. And can he score? Of course he can. I never said that he can't score, but how
was Quickley scoring in the beginning of last year?
In the beginning of last year.
How was he doing offensively?
I think he was doing bad, actually.
Horrible.
He was struggling. Yeah.
Struggling. Tibbs still rocked with him. You know why? He was affecting the game still. Defensively or rebounding. So I think he plays through that. He doesn't, he's still been on the floor when he wasn't scoring the ball. And Tibbs let him play through it. Because he was still affecting the game.
That's the thing for me. That's the thing for me, that, and the notion that, shooters slump and he needs to outshoot himself from that slump. That's not the case for me.
But he didn't do that.
Yeah, but he was still on the court and struggling. And I'm not saying that was bad. I understand the coach was thinking that that's going to help him and stuff like that. I still wasn't a fan of that.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, because in that same article, Fred Katz said that Tom Thibodeau lost faith in Immanuel Quickley. Right? He said he lost faith in him. I don't think this was from any sources. It was his view, from what he saw in the playoffs and Immanuel Quickley's playing time, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think Tom Thibodeau has lost faith in Immanuel Quickley? Or was it just is it just in that playoff situation he's not getting it done right now?
Me personally, I don't think we can judge that, because Quickley the last series of the playoffs he was injured. So yep. It's like, you would say that Tibbs lost the faith and he didn't play him. No, he was injured. So he wasn't fully healthy at least. So
and he was having a good game the game he got injured.
Yeah. And,
Like that might like you know what I mean. It looked like Quickley's back finally because he had a bad first round. You know what I mean, and a bad game one in round two. But he was having a good game when he got hurt.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was getting to. You know that he got hurt in the playoffs. You know what I mean? With so many guys, I mean, with the Knicks getting banged up the way they did in the playoffs, I'm gonna come back to Immanuel quickly. Do they need to get tougher, or were they freak accidents? I mean, I think with Immanuel Quickley, who was it? I forgot who it was. Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo, right? Because Bam Adebayo was bugging in the playoffs.
And
he was
looked dirty.
hurting everybody. It did look dirty. He jumped right at Immanuel Quickley, right? I did that video breakdown about Bam and about just the Miami Heat and some of their what I consider dirty play. But do the Knicks got to get tougher, though? Because Miami Heat is still there. They're not going anywhere. Do you think they have to get tougher? Go ahead, Andy. I jump in with you.
Yeah, that's what I was, talking about before. I think we need that guy, even if it's a guy off the bench for short amount of minutes on the court. We need that bad bruiser, goon type of player that, even if you think about getting someone, bruised up on our roster, that, Tibbs can get a couple of minutes for that guy, and he can bruise, those guys just to show that we're not going to get pushed around and stuff like that. I think that's really important. And again, I think I'm, because I'm almost 40 and I played, tons of basketball games. If you have a guy on your team like that, you ain't going to get pushed around. If you got like 3-4, soft guys, it's going to be a rough night at the gym for you. So,
yeah.
One thing I'll say is I think the Knicks were a pretty tough team all year long. I think Miami kind of beat them at their own game. You know what I mean? So it may be Miami was their kryptonite in a sense, as opposed to like that's who the Knicks are. They're a soft team, or you know what I mean? Like I think Miami got a little bit more physical. You know what I mean? They played a little bit more reckless. You know what I mean? Like
I feel like Miami understood how to go up a notch, and I don't think the Knicks understood how to go up that notch. You know what I mean? And hopefully the playoffs, last year's playoffs helped them to understand that we got to step up even higher. You know what I mean? Learning
it's
experience.
levels each round too. You know what I mean? Like what got you through round one might not get you through round two.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
right. So the Knicks hired Gerson Rosas or promoted Gerson Rosas. Any thoughts on that?
I think that's just a title thing. We know that they always, do group meetings and stuff like that and decisions. I don't think, Leon Rose goes against the rest of the 5 or 6 guys in the management. I think that everything is a group thing, and that he got promoted is like just upper notch, maybe, better salary for him and stuff like that.
Yeah. What did he get promoted to? GM?
I think vice president of basketball operations.
Vice president of basketball operations.
I think he'll get 2 votes now instead of 1. You know what I mean?
He can pick the food on the meetings and stuff like that.
Right. Because he was what? He was just he was a consultant before.
Yeah.
Right? Consultant before. Yeah. I really don't have any thoughts. I think it was expected. Once Scott Perry was out, I think people expected that, that's what was going to happen. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's, big news. Going back to that Fred Katz article, he did talk about R.J. Barrett. And one of the things he talked about with R.J. Barrett is that last season, R.J. Barrett didn't play any basketball over the summer. He said that, he worked out, but he didn't play over the summer. He he didn't want to, because of the contract situation, he didn't want to get injured. We seen how RJ Barrett started last year, right? We seen how he started last year. Now, RJ Barrett, he gets his contract. He's playing for Team Canada. Hopefully he's in shape. Any expectations for RJ coming into camp?
100%. 100%. Like this,
and his contract. I'm sorry, it's my bad, Tony. And his contract kicks in this season.
Slow start, RJ. We can't afford that no more. You know what I mean? And you have reason to even hit the ground running, coming off your, your FIBA experience, your getting the bronze medal and everything else. I think there's no excuse for a slow start this year. You know what I mean? Hit the ground running. I'm not trying to put that, like, I'm not going to be one of those bashing RJ type people, but the expectation is definitely higher. Yeah. And I was talking that contract last year. Everybody was talking about, oh, he ain't worth the extension. It didn't kick in yet. Like you said, now it kicks in. So, yeah.
Now it kicks in. Right.
Expectation is risen.
Yeah. Andy?
I want to say that RJ is still young. And people are going to use that narrative that, RJ is still like 22, 23, whatever, he's like 20, 24 the last 5 years. So listen, like Tony said, I'm expecting RJ to hit the ground running again. And I don't think he can afford a slow start. And that's not meaning that he's going to get traded or stuff like that. No, but the fans are going to be really disappointed in him for the last, is going to be the 5th year, starting the season, in a slump and stuff like that. So I'm definitely not waiting for RJ till late December to hit the 30-point mark or start to be an efficient basketball player. So you better, play at least efficient and useful basketball for the team if he doesn't want to be one of the top 3 scorers on this squad.
Yeah.
And I'm saying put top 3 because he's going to be top 3 paid guy on the team. That's why.
He is. I mean, that's without a doubt. RJ Barrett is going to make $23.8 million this season. Well, what the crazy thing is? Next season he makes more than Jalen Brunson. So Julius Randle is the highest paid player on the team, 28.2. Jalen Brunson, 26.3. Then RJ Barrett, 23.8. Next season, Julius Randle makes 30.3. Jalen Brunson makes 24.9. RJ Barrett, 25.7. And then you got the opt-out season for Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. All right. And that season, Jalen Brunson was signed for 24.9 as well. RJ at 27.7.
Which means Brunson is going to come back at least starting at 30 at the minimum.
That man is
the minimum
starting at 30.
That point,
38.
I'm just saying.
I think he's going to come back.
$500 million contracts around the league.
Yeah, I think he's coming back starting at 37, 38.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that moves into the 40s. That's what I think with Jalen Brunson. Julius Randle too, if he's back. I think Julius Randle over the next 2 seasons has more to do to secure a contract with the Knicks than Jalen Brunson. Even though Julius Randle's been All-NBA and he's put up numbers, I think because of the other stuff that's happened throughout his time here with the Knicks and the playoffs, because Jalen Brunson got in the playoffs and cooked. He did his thing, right? Miami was trying to shut him down. He still dropped 40 on him, right? With Julius Randle, obviously he had the ankle injury and all of that stuff, but, he disappeared. So I think he's got more to prove in order to secure either an extension or a bigger contract with the Knicks than Jalen Brunson, even though Julius Randle's been here longer.
Let's not discount extensions being provided. You know what I mean, for both these guys, and that giving them an extra year of both. You know what I mean, both the Knicks and the players, an extra year at that valued contract, but the big money coming later.
That could happen. That could definitely happen. I think a lot's going to depend on
what we accomplish.
What the Knicks accomplish. You know what I'm saying? If the Knicks are doing their thing and they're looking like they're going to be a top three, a top three play team in the Eastern Conference every year, then I think you're seeing both re-up, right? And the Knicks pay them their money. But if they get the feeling like we don't have no place to go, we've hit our peak, you know what I mean, then you may not. So next year, important times for the Knicks. Because 26, 27 right now, the only person you got RJ Barrett, Josh Hart, and Dante DiVincenzo on the books. That's a year where the Knicks can actually reboot. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, they'll probably work out an extension for Jalen Brunson. We'll see what happens with Julius Randle. We'll see what happens with Immanuel Quickley. But, over the next 2 seasons is going to be really important for the Knicks. Really important. Just moving into, got a little chill real quick. Couple of things about, with training camp. What are your thoughts about training camp right now? And, just what are you looking? We talked about Exhibit 10 contracts, right? Tony, you weren't on that show. Neither was Andy. And anybody within those guys who are Exhibit 10s, do you think have a chance of making a team?
I know you did. I watched it, but I don't remember who's Exhibit 10 and who was two-way and who was
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown, he's an Exhibit 10 guy.
Dwayne Washington.
Dwayne Washington, he's an Exhibit 10 guy.
I'm familiar with Charlie Brown.
Ryan Arcidiacono.
Ryan Arcidiacono, he's Exhibit 9. And then you got the other small guard out there. I can't think of his name right now, but
Charlie Brown Jr., right? I remember
Charlie
him
Brown Jr.
Summer League. He showed out, I think.
Oh, Dwayne Washington Jr. is the other small guard. Charlie Brown Jr., Dwayne Washington Jr., you got Ryan Arcidiacono and Jacob Toppin.
Isaiah Roby. I think Isaiah Roby was also, right? He wasn't on the...
He's not... I think he's on the roster.
Yeah, he's on the roster.
And Jacob Toppin.
Yes.
Yeah, Jacob Toppin.
I won't count out Jacob Toppin. At the very least, I think the Knicks are going to want to see what they have in him, right? Because he wasn't able to play in the Summer League.
Mm-hmm.
I think they like what they saw from Charlie Brown Jr. for sure. I'm not familiar with Dwayne or
Dwayne Washington. Dwayne Washington is a small guard, like 6 foot, 6'1" guard, tough guy. You know what I mean?
And Ryan, decent. I think he's there for.
I think that Ryan is going to be on the roster with these guys.
You think so?
Someone needs to carry the bags for the Villanova guys. So
I don't think so. I think he's I think he's primed for G League, unless somebody in another team picks him up. For the simple fact, all these guys are small guards. We don't need any more small guards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Charlie Brown's the most talented, I guess.
Yeah, I just don't know where there's room for Charlie Brown, really. You know what I mean? He's like 27 years old.
Well, I'm thinking G League. I'm not saying he make the roster.
Oh, yeah. I
don't think none of them make the roster.
Yeah. There is one spot available.
I think one of the two-way guys get it, to be honest.
I think Ryan is going to be on the roster.
It'll probably be Ryan. I think Ryan has the upper hand to be on the roster.
He's
I
got
do.
the most time with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got the most friends on the roster.
Got the most
at
friends
this
on the
point.
team. You know what I mean? And then with your two-way guys, you have Nathan Knight, Jalen Martin, and Dylan Windler. And I'm going to tell you what, I believe that Dylan Windler can really be a sleeper guy to get on the roster because he can shoot the rock. He's 6'7". You know, he can play that small forward spot. He can shoot the rock. He can put the ball on the floor a little bit. His defense may be a little bit questionable, you know what I mean? But he really fills a need for the Knicks.
Both of them, though.
Who?
I think both of those two guys can make the main roster, and then maybe Ryan gets put on a two-way.
If I'm Ryan, I'm not doing no two-way. I'd rather go overseas. You know what I'm saying? He's like
I think
29
if there's
years
another
old.
opportunity out there for him, he takes it.
You said what?
But I said I don't think he picks a two-way contract over a real contract somewhere. You know what I mean? But if that's what's available to him,
right?
You know what I mean? Like he's been bounced around with us for some years now.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like whether it's the two-way, 10-day, this, that, you know what I mean? On the roster, off in the same year. Like he's been, I don't think that changes. I don't think he gets a permanent spot right now. I think he's more prime for the two-way where he'll have an opportunity to still get some games with the big team.
I mean,
but like you said, Windler and Nathan Knight, one of those guys feel more of a need for us
big time
right now than, you know what I mean, than Ryan does.
Yeah, big time. Nathan Knight definitely feels a need, and I think he has a good chance. But here's the thing, with those guys being on two ways, they can play a certain amount of time, you know, with the regular team anyway. Nathan Knight, Jalen Martin, and Dylan Windler, they can play a certain amount of games with the regular team. So, you know, they'll get a chance. They might get a chance to play a little bit, and then if the Knicks like what they see with Nathan Knight, or
flip it around,
flip it around, bring them up onto the roster. I
guess it could happen either way.
You know, I think there's a chance with that last roster spot that one of these guys like actually get, between Nathan Knight, Dylan Windler, and Ryan. One of those three guys actually get the spot.
I agree. Those are the top three. Who do you think out of those three has the upper hand?
Huh?
Is it the relationship based? Is it the need based? Is it the
right now? Ryan probably has. Based. Ryan may have the upper hand right now because they're familiar
relationships,
with him. Right, and they're familiar with him, so he may have the upper hand.
Listen, Ryan ain't even in Westchester, and he ain't even practicing with those guys. Yeah. He's so confident he's gonna get the roster spot.
There's only one way one of those guys don't get that spot, Tony.
You bringing it back?
Only one way, and that's if Melo comes out of retirement. If Melo comes out of retirement, he'll be the backup power forward, I think.
I would love it, man.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. I would love it.
I don't think it's coming out of retirement, but I'm just saying, if he does, I think he'll be the backup power forward for the Knicks.
But let us be top 3 seed with 2 months to go. You know what I mean? I don't think he comes for the full ride. But let us have that availability at the end of the year when you could still bring a guy in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever that deadline is.
Yeah.
I could see that. And him say, all right, let me get in shape. Give me that month to get ready for the playoff run. I could see that.
Well, hopefully he's just staying in shape.
Well, he that's his MO.
So he'd be ready if that happens.
Game shape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So he ready for the playoffs.
Let's see. Anyway, any last things before we get out of here?
Nah, man. I think I want to have this quickly debate a little bit longer, so we could extend that conversation.
We can extend that on over to Knicks and Bruises.
Yeah. So that about it.
Yeah.
man.
Andy?
Always a pleasure.
Well, one thing is sure. That's going to be a great show when we see the number of what Quickly resigns for.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
You know, the fan base is again is going to get split in half.
As usual.
Yeah,
As
it doesn't
usual.
matter what whatever
You know,
topic you throw
as
out
usual.
on YouTube.
Listen,
the fan base splits in half.
Listen, the fan base is gonna get split this year with probably Dante DiVincenzo and Quickley, or Quentin Grimes and Dante DiVincenzo. You know what I mean? There's gonna be some, it's gonna be some people split, without a doubt. But ladies and gentlemen, before I get out of here, just remember, those tickets are going fast. We're, down to about 12 left, and we still got like a whole month and some change before this game even takes place. So make sure you get them right now. You can't beat the price at $155. Center court tickets, Knicks versus the Cavs on November the 1st. Sections 223, 224, 225. All right, there's a link in the description of the video. There's also a link at the top of your YouTube chat, and I'm putting a link in there right now. All right, so make sure you go check it out. Get those tickets, ladies and gentlemen. Get those tickets now before they're all gone, because you can't get it at any cheaper price. Promising you that. And then, of course, we got our kickoff cookout. All right, first annual kickoff cookout. Make sure that you check us out for that. That is October the 7th, so that's just like a week and a half away. You know what I mean? Well, we're going to kick off the season. Come kick off the season with NBK, ladies and gentlemen. Other than that, we're up out of here, folks. Appreciate your time, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game.
Get
if
those
you can't
tickets,
play
ladies and
defense,
gentlemen.
stay out
Get
my
those
way.
tickets.
Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.